And welcome to this Off-Peaks webinar, where we're going to talk about how marketing, including branding and social media and blogging, can help sports instructor of all types, yoga teachers, personal trainers, mixed martial art teachers, ski instructors, etc., etc. This is a 4-part seminar, and we're going to open today and talk about branding. And I'm Julie Freeman from Freestack UK. So brand like a boss, what it is about. It's about how you present yourself, how you introduce yourself to the world. And my closest example is how I branded myself, being a graphic designer on one side and also a web developer. And I always felt a bit like I was in between two worlds until I realized that there was something called a creative technologist. And I thought, you know what, this is something that resonates with me, that covers both the graphic designer, the creative side, and also the web developer, the technology side. So it's almost like this became my brand, and this is when I introduce myself to people, this is what I can use, which is a mix of both. And I work in marketing and digital strategy, and I also co-founded a small company called Freestack, where we do marketing and communications for the sports industry. So what is branding? Branding is basically the first impression. And as you know, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And as an independent sports instructor, even if it's just you, an individual, you must think about you yourself as a brand. And getting your branding right allows your message to come across consistently, no matter where clients find you, whether it's on social, on Facebook, on Twitter, or whether they meet you through a flyer that you left at your local gym, for example. And what is, if you want to be a bit more technical or academic, what is branding? You could think that your brand is made up of the promises that you make to your customers. How am I going to treat you? How am I going to interact with you? What are you going to get from me? What type of personality do I have? And your brand is an expression of the way that you are different to your competitors. And your brand is derived from who you are, what you want to be, and how clients and prospects are going to view you. So we're going to put that as an example. So if you look at those 4 different instructors, they're all into fitness and wellness. And branding is what makes us feel a certain way about those 4 sports instructors. Which one is the one that appeals most to you? What is the style that you would instantly think, you know what, I think I'm going to go with that guy or with that woman because there's a certain vibe or there is something different about them. And which one would you personally go for, and what are the aspects that make them feel so different? The way they feel different is because of the photograph and the imagery and the design. So the visual aspect is absolutely crucial, and the words that they use. And often you take only 4 seconds to determine whether you like something or you don't. And this is quite difficult to do with words. You can do that with an image. An image is captured or identified by people 60,000 times faster than words. So imagery is incredibly important. We're going to come back to that. And why is branding important to you? It informs your potential clients' most important decision, which is whether they will get in touch with you or not. So it's really important that your branding really represents who you are and what you offer. You don't want that new client, for example, to start working with you and feel like he was misled because your brand represented something online that when he meets you face to face is just not there. It could be a personality thing or what level you were branding yourself at. So what is your own brand? How do you get a handle on your brand? Well, there's a very simple way to do that, is to ask yourself a few questions. So if you were to write down a few keywords, for example, that'd be a very easy way to start. So think about, for example, your purpose. What is the purpose of your sports business? Are you Are you trying to change the world? If so, how and why? And why did you get into it? Or what's your pricing, for example, pricing strategy? Do you run your business in a high-end luxury space, or is it more for low-cost, back to basics option? Or think about your clients. Who do you want to work with? Who do you currently work with? And are your current clients representative of your dream clients? If not, how are they different? What would make a dream client for you? Or, for example, level, do people come to you for a gentle introduction to your sport, or are you the right choice for someone who is already quite advanced and is looking to be pushed to their limit? That's quite important. And finally, there's one here right in the middle, personality. What emotions do you want people to feel when they think about your business? How will you generate those emotions? For example, you may want your personal training brand to feel energetic and pumped up, or your yoga studio brand should maybe feel calm and serene. And expressing this, the difference between high energy and calm and serene, is going to require a completely different look and feel for your for your communication. So, thinking about all those keywords and putting a couple of words down for your own brand would be an interesting start. And we're going to do this as an exercise now. So the first thing to do would be to name your brand. So I've looked at a couple of brands here that I found I think they were all on Twitter. King of Slim. Those three words basically say exactly what it is, what you're getting. And it's quite subtle. King, that means probably it's a man, and he's only interested in getting you slim, so it's a weight loss guy. Lift, PT, I can't remember actually, but it could be something to do with weights, or maybe not, but personal trainer. PT Molly, that's a good combination of a first name, which is very personable, and also the sports they do. And then Maria Kelly Yoga is the same. Yoga, you get her sport, but Maria Kelly as well. So a lot of people, Sasha Fitness as well. Wildcat Fit, I think this is Catherine. This is all good combinations that are very personable. This one, Yoga Norfolk, is very clear that it's only in Norfolk, which is something that a lot of people forget, that their business is probably very local, very regional. Fitness for Her, specializing in women's fitness. Daniel Bin's PT, another one with his name and PT, and my favorite one, I didn't even know such thing existed, Face Yoga Expert. Oh well, I probably should try that one of those days. So if you name your brand, that would be a good place. Make sure that you know whether your brand is available on social media. For example, go to Twitter and Instagram to check, and also whether the URL, the domain name, is free. And I think we've got a slide on that by our guest blogger, who talks about how there is one tool that you can find to check all of those all of the places at once for a domain name. And her name is Elle Linton. So if you look at our other webinars, it's really interesting. She talks about blogging and websites. So make sure you check that as well, and find that tool that tells you how to check whether the domain name is free. Then the second exercise is to write your tagline. And you can see below a collection of taglines. And I've picked them because they're all very, very different, but they're all sports instructors. So you could argue that everyone does the same thing, which is getting people into fitness. But there's so many ways to do that, and to tell your audience what you're going to bring into the mix, other than just making you fit. For example, the first one says certified personal trainer, and then specializing in motivating and inspiring other women. So this is only for women, and that person is certified, which is two keywords that may or may not be different to your keywords. Then the next one, Stronger Than Ever at 50, which is maybe for people who are over 50. I'm not too sure, but I think it might be. And also inspiring others to adopt a faith-filled lifestyle, which is quite interesting angle. Then you've got the other ones here, for example, Celebrity, XRAF, that might be interesting for some people. Ultra Runner, so it's also someone who runs and may help you with your runner, and obstacle racer, etc., etc. So all those examples will help your target audience decide whether you're the right fit for them or whether they should go to your competitors. So the first thing you should do is collect all those keywords and determine what makes you unique compared to your competitors. So if you do that, that's a very good way to start with your brand. And then make sure that you use this tagline consistently across your website, across your social media accounts, to make sure that there is no doubt about who you are and what you stand for. Then we talked about imagery before and how terribly important that is, because it's the thing that people notice first, and they only will give you a few seconds before deciding whether they like you or not. So it's actually probably quite easy to do. It may be easier than you think. And I would advise you to get one good quality portrait, and you can use that then everywhere. And you don't necessarily have to hire a photographer. In this example here, for example, this is something that is just a normal headshot. Could have been taken with a phone. And you can use photo editors online like BeFunky or canva.com/photo editor. Those tools will allow you to take this photo from that to this, so it's just a bit more, it just looks a bit more professional in literally 3 clicks. And then if you have a good quality header picture, I'm going to show you examples later, that could be anything, that could be a landscape or something abstract. It doesn't have to be you, and again, it doesn't have to be something that is taken professionally by a photographer. And the last thing is a simple logo, or a logo type, which is literally just your logo typed with a nice font. And this is again something that you don't necessarily need to pay someone to do. If you have the budget, then definitely do that, because it's going to be very, very specific to what you're doing. You could go, for example, on Fiverr.com, which allows you to pay a $5 or a bit more for a logo. Or you can use online generators like logomaker.com or Hipster Logo Generator, which is the one I used here, which makes very, very simple logos that you can then export and save on your computer and use everywhere. There's another little tip. If you pick one color and stick to it and use it everywhere, that would just add to the consistency. And I'm going to show you a couple of examples. So this is Wildcat Fitness. And you can see that she's using very, very good quality portrait. I mean, I say portrait, but it's actually, you can see more than a portrait, but it's her demonstrating what she does on a day-to-day basis. Those photos are really, really nicely shot, probably a professional photo shoot. She's also got another header photo, which is another photo of herself. And then she's got a little logo, Wildcat Fitness, which is also very, very simple, black and white. And she's using that consistently across all her websites, Instagram and Twitter. So immediately, wherever you come across Wildcat Fit, you will have the same impression of what she does. Then this is another example which is a bit less high-end, so probably a bit more homemade, but I think it's got just as much impact, and it tells a very different story. It's yoga, mindfulness, work-life balance, so the color scheme is also very toned down. The headshots, again, see, they're just taken in front of a very, very, it's just a very simple background. It's probably done at home, but it's nicely edited. There's another one here which is from the same series but a bit different, which works as well. And then she's got a very simple logo, Suzy Pool Resilience for Life, and a turquoise color which is very calming. And this is just overlaid over this very beautiful photo of a sunset. And again, that is something that you could take the photo yourself, or you could find free photography that is not your typical, stock photography. And if you listen to the other webinar by my colleague Lenka, which is about social media, she'll give you lots of tips on where you can find free photos. So make sure you don't miss the second part of this webinar by Lenka. So again, I think that illustrates my point about consistency. Use the same tagline. If you can, sometimes there is a limitation in how long your tagline can be, but maybe write down a few options and use it everywhere. For example, this is even LinkedIn. This person maybe works with executives for personal coaching, so LinkedIn is as important to her potentially and her business than Instagram might be to your business. So think about that. And again, that's something that Lenka will touch upon in the next webinar, what social media channels you should use. And in a nutshell, so that's the end of our seminar about branding. Your brand is the way that you are different to your competitors. And if you turn this into words and find 2 pictures which convey your brand, that's going to allow all of your potential audience, all of your potential clients to understand what they get if they decide to hire you as a personal trainer or as a sports instructor. And also be consistent across all platforms. And this doesn't mean just online, by the way. It also means all the places you might be found or seen by clients. For example, what you wear, your flyers, your business cards. Make sure that your tagline is the same everywhere. And that's it from me. Thank you very much. And put your comments underneath the video. If you have any questions as well, make sure you reach out to us, offpeaks.com. Thank you very much.